This is episode 232 of the Andrew Hines Real Estate Investing Podcast. This episode is brought to you by Control and Compound Financial. They teach real estate investors how to multiply their wealth using infinite banking strategies. For a complimentary wealth coaching session or to learn more, visit www.controlandcompound.com/Andrew Hines. Welcome back to the show. Today I have Nemo with me, and I am not even going to try and pronounce it. Tune into the actual episode right after this intro for that. Nemo's a great guy. I've been following his journey for a little bit. He is a real go-getter. So he started doing flips. He's been in the business for quite some time. He actually mentioned that he had been coming to my meetups actually from before the lockdowns started. And I don't recall meeting him there, but I do remember meeting him out at one of our meetups more recently. And just following what he does. The guy's always on the road, traveling to different masterminds in the US, shaking hands with a lot of big players. Notably, he's investing in Airbnb Arbitrage in South Florida. So he's on the East Coast in the Fort Lauderdale area. He talked through how he's managing that at a distance and what he's doing to grow his business out. So he's very much focused on growing in the US from here. We get into the tools that he's using and much, much more. So I'm confident that you're going to get a lot out of this episode. Just before we do jump into it, I want to remind you that the GTA West REI meetup is happening this week. So it's going to be on Thursday, the 20th of July for this next meetup. And then we'll have another one in August, but we would love to see you there. So if you can make it out, please make sure that you RSVP within our group. So click the link in the description of this video or in the show notes of the podcast and add yourself to the group if you're not already there, and then RSVP on the event. Just wanted to remind you that if you're enjoying the show, please share it with somebody you think would benefit from seeing it. It just helps the show to grow more and get the message out to more people. And with that being said, let's go ahead and jump into episode 232 with Nemo. Hello and welcome to the Andrew Hines Real Estate Investing Podcast. I've got Nemo on the show, and I'm gonna let him pronounce the full version of it.
The rest of the name, yeah, fair enough. Full name is Nemo Napijalo. It's a little bit tough to pronounce, but
yeah,
I think Nemo is the easier way to go.
Nemo is much easier, but we'll see if I take a stab at that on the intro. Probably not. You can just be like Cher or Madonna, and you just got the one name.
I think that makes sense.
Yeah,
right? It's marketable, brandable.
It's not a lot of Nemos out there anyway.
No, I mean there was a fish a while back. But
yeah, there was Finding Nemo.
I think they forgot about him.
Yeah. He's
not in real estate.
That's a pickup line at the bar somewhere. Hey, you found me.
That's it.
Anyways, so we kind of crossed paths. I don't even know when, but you came out to the meetup, and I know you've been doing stuff in the US. And
I think I went to your meetups before the pandemic.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. I think I went to a couple there, but I think both times I was there, you weren't there or something.
Really? Or I was probably just swarmed by
or something. Yeah. I don't know. I did not see you at all. Met some cool people. Ended up hanging out with them. I actually got an employee from one of your meetups.
Serious?
When I was doing wholesaling here, I got an employee like, oh, I want to learn. I want to do that too. I'm like, great, let's go. Then she did a whole bunch of driving for dollars for me around Hamilton, and then I think during the pandemic, we started talking more. We're like, dude, what's going on? What is this?
Yeah.
So that was a
we did, didn't we? I'll have to go back through our messages. It's, because it takes a while to kind of place people's stories. I get a lot of like people who would just reach out to me, and I'm not like, I actually don't even know what they look like. We just message back and forth.
Yeah.
And then eventually we connect, and I'm like, oh, okay, so it's all tying together now.
Yeah.
So, anyways, the thing I kind of noticed with you is you're just like going 1,000 miles an hour.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, you jumped into the Florida market. I know you're doing stuff elsewhere in the US, and every time I see your stories, you're somewhere in the US, at a mastermind or talking to somebody, getting around the right people. So give me the high level, like, what you're doing, how you came to be sitting in this chair.
Yeah, 100%. I think when I started real estate, I started at a time that, prices were very high, and the regular books telling you to go find a realtor and to investor-friendly realtor is going to find you a deal. It wasn't really working out for me. So I turned to wholesaling, and wholesaling was a very fun thing at the time because you're just looking for the deal, but you're also understanding what a deal is. You're understanding how to run numbers, understanding what to do with different deals and different strategies. So it kind of opens you up to everything else. And I think it's such a fundamental skill to have. So having done that, I had a person who's not my partner, Chance, approach me, and he was like, "Hey man, we're doing this great stuff in the States. It's remote wholesaling. You don't have to go to any places, see anything, do anything, but we're having a little bit trouble on the hiring. We're having a little bit of trouble on the actual like vision and the strategies and the rest of this stuff. Like we can close, but what do you do with these deals? What actually happens on the other side of it?" So I was looking at that and thinking, well, let's just start talking about it.
So so to take a step back, you just did wholesaling in Canada. You weren't investing.
I did wholesaling and flips in Canada.
Wholesaling and flips.
Wholesaling
Okay.
and flips, yeah.
And when did that start?
That started probably in like 2017, 2018. Yeah.
Okay. So you were what areas?
Hamilton, Welland, Niagara Falls.
So all this little pocket here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And overseeing your own flips,
Yeah.
or you had a general contractor?
I never went general contractor way.
Yeah.
I always found it a bit too expensive, and I was super lean and careful on the flips, which looking back now, I could have probably scaled it more and done more.
Yeah.
But I was just trying to like control the margins.
And how many were you doing?
So we did about 4.
Okay, you did
about
4?
4, yeah.
Over the span of a few years, or
Over the span, like we did about 1 a year.
1 a year?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I was doing 1 a year, but the profit margins were a lot more than I thought because everything just kept
everything
going
was
up.
going up. You know,
I
it
was
saves you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was hoping, I was like, man, I should have done more. And I should have
Yeah.
paid that whatever 15, 20% on top, pay a GC, move on. 'Cause I
Yeah.
still had a full-time job at the time.
Yeah. What were you doing?
I was doing HVAC.
HVAC. Okay.
HVAC, yeah. Yeah.
You
So HVAC sales and
Sales, not tech.
not tech. No.
Okay. Can you
No.
install an air conditioner or no?
I mean, with the tools and a YouTube video and ChatGPT, I'm sure we could figure it out, but I don't think I'd want to.
Don't think you'd want to. Okay.
No.
All right. So you got out of that. I mean, how long? Like, were you born in Canada?
No, I was born in Serbia.
Serbia.
Yeah.
Your name sounds Spanish. Doesn't
Some
sound
people say
Serbian.
Italian, some say Spanish.
I 100% thought Spanish.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
Serbian.
Serbian, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's no Spanish influence there?
No Spanish influence there. No, Nemanja is probably the most Serbian name you can find.
Okay.
My last name, though, Napijalo, is a little bit funny. It just means the one that drinks a lot.
Okay.
Which, like, I don't drink a lot, so it's kind of a little pun
That's
there.
hilarious. Okay. Wow,
Yeah.
I had it completely wrong. Okay, so you were born in Serbia, came over when?
I came over in 2001.
2001.
Yeah.
And your parents came over obviously at that
Yeah,
time.
we all came at the same time.
Yeah, and what did they do?
So my dad got into tool and die, and he was a machinist, and then he was in aluminum composite panels. There's a big company called Sobotech.
Yeah.
They're in Hamilton. They do all the panels, aluminum composite panels, exterior siding on most of the dealerships in Canada in the early 2000s.
Yeah.
And he worked his way up through that and ended up going into management position, and then eventually outside, and then leading crews on installations. And then from there, he ended up actually opening up his own little installation kind of just contracting company, which I joined when I was about like 19, something like that. And I started doing a bit more of the sales side, I'm like, hey, we can do this too. So we opened everything up, and we had up to like, I think about 22 employees at the time, 5,000 square foot shop, like everything was great. And to me, I'm young, so I'm just seeing all these hundreds of $1,000s going in and out, and I'm like, oh my God, this is amazing. Meanwhile, like what you actually get at the end, you got to keep investing back in. So every time we get some money, I'm like, yeah, we got the money, but you got to buy a new CNC machine. How much is that? Well, $500K. All right, well, let's go buy that.
Yeah, that's the funny thing about running a business. I mean, yeah, you see some big numbers come in, but it's the cost of running the business ends up eating up a lot of that, and then you end up at the end. I mean, every industry's different, but some industries 10% you're doing amazing, and some like grocery, I think their margins are like 3% or something on sales. So were you guys in like that kind of a ballpark, like 10% at the end of the day?
We were at about like 15 to 20.
15 to 20. So you're doing better than a lot of industries.
15 to 20 it was good, because there was a big lack of people that knew how to do that work.
And this work was
the aluminum composite panel side, because of the sheer mass of it. Like, think about it. You have to make something level across like an entire building.
Yeah.
And the way that
this is what they use for those buildings in Toronto and stuff.
Yes, exactly. Okay. I was on a swing stage one time of that, and it was my second day on the job. It was hilarious. My dad's like, yeah, you got to go on the Zoom boom. You got to get the stuff off this floor. You got to come back, then we're going to go on the swing stage. And I'm like, okay, this is a normal day. So I go on this 125-foot Zoom boom. I open it up all the way to like the 11th floor, pick some stuff up, go back down. He's like, how was that? I'm like, that was good. Yeah, a little bit scary, but it's okay. He's like, why is it scary? I'm like, well, the machine, when you go down, it doesn't like self-level. So as I started going down, the whole thing started like going back.
Tipping?
Tipping. So I'm like, this is so I gotta like manually go
Yeah.
down, then drop the arm. Go
Yeah.
down, drop the arm. He's like, great, we're gonna go on the swing stage. Went on the swing stage, and you're like on like the 18th floor now, because those booms only go to the 11th.
Yeah.
You're like hanging there, and I'm just like,
So it's like a crane or something?
it's like a crane. Yeah, you got
Yeah.
you got the swing stage, like how they clean the windows. You're just using it to install stuff.
Okay, yeah.
But as we're installing, you push against the building, the swing stage moves back, right?
Yeah.
So now I'm just looking at the ground, and I'm
Yeah.
like, and I'm just thinking, I'm like, this is normal. This is what they do. I can't be scared right now. I gotta man up. I gotta do
Yeah.
this. So then after, like, everybody starts laughing. They're like, how was your first day? And I was like, oh, it was great. It was fine. It was no problem. They're like, really? I'm like, yeah, it was no problem. They're like, well, you should know, we never really do this. This is just once in a while you get a massive building like this.
Yeah.
Most of them are like 8 floors. I'm like, oh my God, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Then I kind of let it out.
That's funny.
Yep.
So you've kind of had that drive maybe ingrained in you from your dad, you think?
Yeah, from my dad, from my grandpa. My grandpa's story is crazy. I mean, he was like 3 weeks before he was born. The Nazis came into our village, took everybody there that was a man, and burned them in our church.
Really?
Yeah. So my grandpa ended up actually without a father and a grandfather or any men in our family before he was even born.
Wow.
So when he was growing up, like by 8 to 12, like he was already working. He was like a grown man working, providing for the family. And then at 14, he got into this mechanic program in Bosnia, and they just sent him there. And from there, he got into working on buses and then eventually tanks. And then from there was a special program for people that were really, really affluent and good at what they did in Germany. And he was one of the ones that was chosen to go to Germany. And then he worked in Munich on buses, and then he got to driving buses. Then he got to driving cross countries. And the thing in Europe back in those days that was very, very lucrative was you would get all your passengers to essentially say that they bought all the things that your friends would bring to the bus. So let's say you go to like Czechoslovakia back in the day, you get a whole bunch of TVs, cigarettes, booze, whatever it was. And you would give each of these passengers basically a free ticket. They just got to say that this is there. So they
Oh, yeah. So you're just trying to import goods.
So you're importing.
Because you have limitations on how much you can bring.
That's right.
Yeah.
But now you go somewhere like France or Germany or England or any of those, and you're selling this stuff for 9 times the price.
Ah, so that's entrepreneurial.
So that was entrepreneurial in that time. A little bit illegal, I guess, but everybody did it, so it was just a little bit of borderline.
That's just a technicality.
Right?
Yeah, I like it. Okay, so I wanted to ask you about that just to kind of get an idea, because very few people just, I don't know, move like that in terms of like speed. And I just, I knew I was in Florida. I gave you a call, and we were just talking for like an hour about what you were doing in Fort Lauderdale. I think it was. And you were doing subject to acquisitions.
Yeah.
And you'd rolled out a program to do that. So anyone who doesn't know, subject to is basically creative financing terms. And in that specific case, you're trying to get somebody to sell you the house, but they keep the mortgage in their name.
That's right.
And did you end up pulling one of those off?
So right now we're in talks with 2 of them.
Yeah.
And we had to take a little bit step back to refocus on what came as news to me on the E2 side, because speaking to, I talked to like 5 of these lawyers, and each time I'm getting like a little bit of a difference and opinion on what I can and can't do. And initially I thought, well, you know what, let me just buy a simple business. So I was in the process, we're about to buy an HVAC company, because that's what I know best. That's what I can run easily. And if I can get that locked down, then no problem, let's go.
That should be no issue,
Should be no issue. But we had an issue with the actual sellers. So sellers were like, well, I don't know if we were good with this. I don't know if we're happy. Well, I don't know if we want to sell our finance now. We're like, okay, well, if we do SVA loan, I can't get my E2. Because if you get an SVA loan, you have to be 51% owner of the company. But to get the E2, you have to be 50% owner of the company.
At least 50.
At least 50.
Yeah.
So that 1% is what ruins that deal for me. So I'm telling them, well, guys, I can't make this work. If we get an SVA,
can't you own 51?
I can get an SVA. And the American...
What's an SVA?
It's the loan that you would buy a business with in the States.
Oh, okay. You just can't take... You have to have the minority ownership in it?
You have to have the minority... Well, the American that's applying for it...
Oh, okay. So the American needs to be the majority owner.
Yes.
So that was your conflict. Yeah, my issue, I was looking at a bunch of businesses down there when I was there, because I was looking at getting the E2 visa so I could stay down there. And... one, the realtors were not motivated to move these businesses. 2, a lot of the businesses I felt were overvalued, way overvalued for what they were. A lot of them, it's like the manpower, the people who were running them that were like all the value. and then they still want a couple hundred G's for this business.
Exactly.
So it was not as easy done, because the immigration lawyers will all tell you, just go buy a business. Don't try and do it around real estate, because real estate's really hard to work.
That's right.
But then you go look for these businesses, and it's not like it's just that simple. Probably easier buying one. Funny enough, randomly encountered this German guy who got his E2 in Florida while we were down there. Carmen bought his trailer, lawnmowers, truck, like the whole landscaping business that he did his E2 based on.
Okay.
So he got approved.
Right.
And then immediately just sold everything that he bought for the approval.
Wow.
Which is like a huge no-no. You're not supposed to do it. And he was just like, oh, it's no problem at all. 10-year approval with no reviews.
Are you
That's what he said. But I don't think Canadians can get that. For some reason, they did that for him being German, but I don't think Canadians can get that.
Yeah.
Anyway, so who knows? Maybe they're a little harder on Canadians. But I think that it's more like a Canadian, if they want to do that, they want to move down there, it's more like a 5-year, maybe only a 2-year.
That's what they said. So they said you have it for 5, you can stay for 2. You got to cross after the 2.
Do you have to cross after the 2?
You have to cross after the 2, and then after the 5, you can just refresh it, which is no big deal.
Okay.
They're not going to give you any issues with that.
You have to leave at least once within the 2 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it could just be for a day.
It could be for a day.
Okay.
So
interesting.
I thought it was the full 5. You stay for 5 and you're good.
I thought so too. Yeah.
But they're like, no, you get the 2.
Yeah.
And then you get the 2, and then you get they're separate. One is rotating on a 2-year, but for 5 years you have this permission.
Yeah, permission to cross the border.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's some people here who've thought about it, and there's a lot of mysticism around going cross border and what's entailed and how reasonable is it to do that. And it doesn't seem like it's that hard. I actually know a guy who's not even down there. He just, as a just in case, threw in the application, got it approved. He's not even doing the industry that he applied for anymore. Yeah, but he's got the approval because he had American clients already, and he's just like, well, I have clients down there. A physical presence would allow me to build that business more. Oh, okay, approved.
100%.
You just had to wait for the interview and did it at the Toronto embassy, I guess, and got it.
That's where my conflict with deciding what to go with was, because all the lawyers are saying different things, and like you just said, we just had 3 different stories of different people saying different things. Yeah, and it's like, well, what's the actual truth? So now that I started looking at our business, the way that we function, we have 4 partners. So we have me, who is out in private money raising, on the lending side, on the creation, the vision.
This is in the U.S.? Your U.S.-based business. So you're a 25% owner of the business.
Yes.
And I think they want you to be at least 50, right?
That's right.
Yeah, so that hurts you.
Yeah.
What about if you actually have to own that business wholly, right?
You have to own that business wholly. So as far as what we do on our side to kind of justify that, essentially when I got approached to join the short-term rental side of the business, it was another funny kind of experience just like that, because Chance approached me for the wholesaling, and then my partners Matt and Lori also approached me for the short-term rental side, because we were at Brady McDonald's mastermind over there. Yeah, that's where we met. Hit it off. Started talking about stuff.
You met Chance there as well?
No, Chance was he's in Vancouver.
Okay.
So the funny thing is, we've been doing business for a year. I've never met him.
It's a year at this point.
At this point, yeah. So so we're hanging out, and we went with a couple that does 100 flips a year. Teresa and I believe it was Teresa, Mark Anderson. Yeah. They're part of the 7-figure flipping down in the States. And we're like, wow, you guys do 100 flips, all volume, let's go. And it's a family business. And their 18-year-old daughter is educating us on what, crown molding she's going to do and not, and what she's going to leave and take out, and the ROI on doing the windows or not doing the windows. And I'm like, oh my God, this is amazing. You guys are a whole family unit just killing it down here. But then we looked at the margins. We're like, man, yeah, you guys are killing it. But at the same time, I don't know if this is what we would really want to get into. The margins in Cape Coral for flips were if you're doing it at $1, well, great, but they're a little bit tight.
Yeah, it's not monstrous. Even my new builds, there's money there, but as the values change and the cost of construction changes, it's a bit of a moving target. Yeah, and I think the low-hanging fruit, the easy flips, plus because of the price point, so many people flock to that for the flips. Yeah. And if you're going to do the high end, well, I mean, there's potentially less buyers for the high end stuff.
That's what I'm seeing. That's what we saw. And then we started exploring the short-term rental side, because everybody was all saying, well, Airbnbs, and we're just thinking, oh my God, Florida, yeah, it's all great. But then we started to see, our current just rental arbitrage just did $40,000, not even in 3 months. Whereas,
Yeah, and where are you basing that out of? Like what cities?
so Pompano Beach, Lauderdale by the Sea, and Fort Lauderdale.
Okay.
That's where we
So
chose.
all East Coast.
Yeah.
Okay. So and these are just people you've approached. They're renting out their places to you. Are these full houses or
Yeah.
apartments?
Full houses.
Why not go for apartments? I hear people doing that, and it's just absolutely crushing.
So here's the way that we approach our kind of underwriting process and the way that we've decided on this area. A lot of people talk about saturation, right? Oh my God, there's so many Airbnbs here. Like Tampa, for example. Go on Google, what's the best place? You're going to see Tampa's going to come up. But then when you realize that Tampa has like 6,000 rentals for their population and all of like GTA has like almost 8,000, like that's way more than there really needs to be for that whole area.
So they're saturated.
They're saturated, drives the price down. Now, here's
so what are you looking for? You're looking at the active rentals number against the population of that city.
So that is a factor, but the other factor is what is it saturated with? Is it saturated with the 2-bedroom condos and the 3-bedroom houses? Where are the 4 and 5-bedroom houses?
Yeah,
that's where we found our little niche.
So you're looking for a percentage. So if you just narrow it down to just like you go on airbnb.com, look at 3 and 4 bed units, and you compare that to the population, do you have a set ratio that you're looking for, or a percentage?
So there's no percentage because the difference was astronomical. Like for example, like in our area, the 3-bedroom houses are making $50,000 less than 4 and 5-bedroom houses.
So you're looking for 4 and 5 then.
So we went for 4 and 5. That's all we want. That's all we want. And then when me and you were talking about the seller financing, these are the exact type of people that are going to be in that situation. Like our owner right now got his place for $600,000. It's now worth $1.3 million. He has a lot of equity in there. There's a lot of negotiation. There's a lot of conversation that we can have over the next 1 year of our rental term with him, exposing the issues and flaws with his property. And why do you want to take care of this?
Ah, yes. So you have a year to work out a negotiation strategy.
A year to work it out.
Yeah.
Yeah. And now that I'm looking at, it all ties in with the E2 because the co-hosting side, what I really truly love about the co-hosting side compared to, let's say, wholesaling is that they're both really quick money. They're like fast money, in my opinion. Yeah. Wholesaling is fast money. Co-hosting is fast money. You sign somebody up, you do the job. At the end of the month, whatever you're able to generate them, you get 20% of that.
When you say co-host, that means you're going to let them stage it under your direction?
No. So co-host would essentially be you, Andrew Hines, have a property right down the street. You come to me, Nemo, and you're like, hey, man, I want this to be an Airbnb. No problem. We'll go make that happen.
Yeah, so you're sort of taking on the role of a manager.
Yes, exactly.
But you're just taking a piece of it.
We take 20% if we're doing
that
everything.
Basically is management then.
Yeah.
So you're doing a management co-hosting. Okay.
Yeah. We do 10% if it's just the online stuff.
Yeah.
And the dynamic pricing and optimization of it. Because, I was just listening to the podcast. It's amazing. And I got so excited for it. It was Bill Faith, and he was saying that 38% of all of his rentals are self-generated. I'm like, 38%? I'm like, well, we're getting like 80% occupancy right now. So if we add 38%, that's over 100. So that means that to level off at 95% occupancy, all I got to do is raise the prices at that point. Now you're like supercharging your listing. It's super fun. You get super excited.
Explain that context again. So he's generating his own leads, he was saying?
Yeah, exactly. So
how so?
So you have Instagram, you have Facebook, you have all the social media
portals. So he's
portals,
just driving a lot of traffic to his own
stuff.
We do that too, actually, on our camp. It's our single largest source is our website now.
100%, right?
Direct bookings.
Yeah.
Which we never expected. We don't even know where they're coming from.
It's crazy.
We got to figure that out.
You should. That's amazing.
I think it comes from a lot of me talking about it. People who already know the 4 of us partners, and they just they trust us, so they just book through the website.
Yeah.
And then I think because we're so easily searched, Grotto Getaway, people just search it, they find our website, they just book.
It's there.
Yeah, it's
100%.
there. And they can see we're super hosts and stuff. We're not messing around.
Yeah.
So I think there's a number of reasons.
You have a very unique product too that I think that even in passive conversations, there's a lot of that. Oh, Andrew Hines? Oh, he's got the glamping stuff. Oh, like even I was at the mastermind, they're like talking about glamping. I'm like, oh, well, guy.
We're on a WhatsApp chat with Chris Rude, but I mean that never went anywhere. They never followed up. But he was thinking about doing something similar.
Yeah.
I do see people sort of, not that we created it because we didn't, but there are people out there copying us.
Of course. Yeah. Yeah, it's a good
I guess it's a compliment. I don't know. In our geographic location, it's not like I guess somebody next door could do it, but there's so many things that you look at what is a competitive advantage.
Yeah.
And it's a combination of your real estate, your views, because anybody can go buy a canvas tent and throw a bed in it.
100%, man.
Yeah, you could do it in your
100%.
backyard if you wanted. I mean,
Yeah.
bylaw would be up on you.
Yeah,
But
100%. I think that's a huge thing of like
Yeah.
like this the speed at which we do stuff in our company. And it may not look super speedy as far as getting a whole bunch of deals on the contract and figuring it out later. But I think the work that we did is very like typically Canadian and very safe. Like we figured out literally everything, and then when we shoot, it's like a sniper. We're
yeah,
not just like shotgunning around.
yeah.
It's really sniping it, and everything that we've done so far ends up being exactly like that.
So you have 4 people who are running this operation.
Yeah.
You said you're raising money.
Yeah, so I'm on the money raising side, the general vision, and I kind of fill in wherever I need to. So I run around, fill in wherever I'm needed, and also it allows me to go to masterminds to go figure out what is everybody else doing, how do we partner with
Yeah,
people,
best practices.
everything.
Because you used to be doing wholesaling, which I presumably was your full-time income.
Yeah,
And-
wholesaling and the HVAC stuff
Yeah.
was coming in, at the same
Yeah.
time.
So now you're purely on, this is your income source plus what you have saved. So you're kind of building this. And
Yeah, exactly. This plus the wholesaling is still active.
the wholesaling here.
Wholesaling is still active. So the
Yeah.
funny thing is that we did there was, I started to realize in the States compared to Canada, the biggest difference is that everybody partners, everybody collaborates. And everybody through doing such a fast pace in business, they're able to actually develop so many skills during that time
Oh, yeah.
that they just become so valuable that if they have like 15, 25, 35% of random
Yeah.
businesses,
Yeah.
everybody else still wants them.
You're a strategic partner, right?
You're a
Like that's a
strategic
very
partner.
common thing, especially the banks want that
100%.
down there. They want you to have that strategic, like super capable partner,
Exactly.
preferably somebody who can guarantee the loans and stuff. But
That's right.
yeah, you become a commodity, and that's very common in the States. They want that. They
Yeah.
want to see that in big development deals and stuff. But I look at it as like all these people out there, you pay for coaching, and coaching is super valuable. Don't get me wrong. But if you can work with people who are crushing and you bring something to the table and they bring something to the table, now you have an opportunity to basically be coached by them. You learn from them, they learn from you, and everybody gets better.
100%.
Yeah. And I look at doing the camp like very much like that. We've got 4 of us and we're all extremely capable, all active partners,
Yeah.
active in real estate in different ways.
Yeah.
And it's just such a compliment.
Yeah.
It works really well.
100%. That's how we built our I call it a conveyor belt. And now it's turning into a locomotive, but I call it a conveyor belt because essentially it's like, okay, what are we doing? We look at it, where are we missing? How are people doing this? Who else is doing this? And then we
Yeah.
have a meeting. And then I say, hey, this is what the best people in this are doing right now.
Yeah.
And then my team will kind of go research what's happening, who's doing what. Once we figure out what strategy we like, what area we like, what
Mhm.
neighborhood we even like, where do we want to stay,
Yeah.
we go and look just for there. So Chance, our
Yeah.
partner, he's on the acquisition side. So we'll pull lists specifically for that, and we'll use the wholesaling strategies
Yeah.
to just market that as much as we can. And now that
He's
we're-
pulling lists for wholesaling?
Yeah.
So he's helping you run that business.
Exactly.
Is that in Canada or only US?
that's only US.
Okay, so now you're out of Canada, basically.
I'm out of Canada. Yeah, I only have like one more flip here to finish, and another like side project. And I don't think I really. I mean, if something comes up, sure, why
Yeah.
not? We all say that, but as far as a focus,
Yeah.
I don't want to be here. I don't want to be responsible for being here. I don't want anybody to call me for problems here. It's just, it really left kind of a bad taste in my mouth
Yeah.
after seeing, not only the way that like the pandemic and everything kind of transpired,
Yeah.
but also the way that what everyone else is doing in the States and
Mhm.
and how little effort they put in and what they get for it
Yeah.
compared to here. It was just, well, why are we doing hard mode?
I would say, okay, yes. And I do agree with you to an extent. I think that there are still opportunities here. And I've kind of had the similar mentality. It's not my focus right now, but for instance, we just bought another resort and that wasn't really intended, but it came up and I'm like, well, this is a pretty good deal. I guess
Yeah.
we'll take this. So I'm always of the opinion, if there's a great deal, I'm going to,
For sure.
I'm open to it. But I agree with you in that in the States, like that's where I've chosen to grow too. And I think that I'm not afraid of that border. I've already worked that out. And it's just mysticism, right? You can demystify all that.
Of course.
There's the right team. There's people out there that can help you do that. So the one thing I would say, though, is in Canada, people are open to giving up way more of a deal, taking way less of a deal as a money partner.
Yeah.
In the States, the expectation seems to be much harder. Much higher. They want a bigger piece. You'll find these money partners out there, but they want the lion's share of the deal, and the working partners get a bit less. The other, part of that is you can do much bigger deals. So what do you care? You're getting a piece of a massive deal. And if you get enough of those pieces, it works out very well for you.
Yeah.
So the hybrid is our friend Nick. I think you know Nick, right?
Yeah, Nick Van Dyke, yeah.
Raises money in Canada,
Yeah.
gives 70% to himself on his owner's side.
Yeah.
And then the investors get 30%. In the States, he wouldn't have had that
No.
same ability to do that.
No.
I mean, he could have done it with unsophisticated investors, but it wouldn't have worked as easily as it did for him doing it in Canada.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there's differences on both sides. Like
100%.
some people, Canada might make way more sense for them just the way they run their business.
Yeah.
But I could see for you, like America seems to be your playground.
Dude, I was in one big thing that kind of sat with me. I hang out with people, and sometimes we get into a chat and you hear the most like you just get a nugget sometimes.
Yeah.
And I've always loved hanging out with Luke Boyron.
Yeah.
And he was in Clearwater at the same time as I was, and we met up. We went for a coffee and we had some breakfast, and we're just hanging out. And I was super excited about the States, and he's already a really established investor here. So I love his opinion on things because it puts this like bigger lens in a way on the things that I'm kind of thinking about and doing. And I was looking at the wholesaling side, right? And I'm like, dude, like this is easier, free information, none of this, pull a list. He's like, you know what, man, you're absolutely right. All that is true. And if I didn't have the competitive advantage that I have in Canada,
yeah,
I probably would be doing it in the States.
Yeah, he's so established here.
But because I'm so established,
yeah,
I go there. I'm starting at level 1 again. Like, why would I do that?
Why do that? Not that he couldn't. He definitely could. And a lot of us, even if you're set up in investing in one area, you have the same mentality. Like, hey, I'm already set up here. I don't need to go anywhere else.
Set up,
there's tons of people where that's going to make more sense for them here.
Yep.
And it's just like if you look at a playground, where can I go get that 20 grand a month cash flow? You're gonna work real hard from scratch to do that here in Ontario.
Yeah.
Even 5 years ago, that was a lot easier than it is now.
Yep.
Not to say it can't be done. It can. If this is where you want to do it, there is a way to figure that out. Or you can open up your geography in terms of where you're willing to go.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. I wanted to go through sort of a basic deal for you. I don't know. You want to cover like a recent one?
Yeah. So I looked at the numbers. I know you like your numbers, so
you got to at least deal a little numbers. Everybody thinks of me. I'm known as the numbers guy. I don't really think of myself that way, but I am known that way.
I think you're a little infamous for that. Everybody gets their notepads ready for you.
Yeah.
So I think that one of my favorite ones that I want to talk about was the rental arbitrage.
Yeah, rental arbitrage.
Arbitrage. Yeah.
Yeah. So tell me about it. Like, what house was it? Like, what was it like?
So the house is 4-bedroom, 3-bathroom.
Okay.
It's 5 minutes away from the beach.
And this is like East Coast, Florida.
Lauderdale by the Sea.
Lauderdale. Okay.
And Lauderdale by the Sea is this tiny little community that's like 98% fully developed. They have their own county. They have their own police station, their own fire hall, their own everything.
Yeah.
But it's so small. It's like literally like the smallest little neighborhood. You would call it a neighborhood, really, rather than anything else.
So on Airbnb, how do you get people there? Are people looking for Lauderdale by the Sea?
So Fort Lauderdale, Pompano Beach, Lauderdale by the Sea. It's kind of like Stony Creek and Hamilton.
Okay, so
you say Hamilton, people know where it is.
Yeah, they'll find it. Yeah.
If you're from here, you know what Stony Creek is. But you put Hamilton, it'll come up. So same thing with that. But the Lauderdale by the Sea is this tiny little pocket that when we were looking at it, we looked at everything throughout the whole thing. So we just pulled a big list of Fort Lauderdale. And we're looking at it, and then we're starting to see there's a lot of Airbnbs that are existing, and there's takeovers happening. There's a lot of people losing their licenses. There's cameras in the backyard pointed at the pool. So we thought that was very intrusive and weird, and we're wondering why that is. And the more we started to research, the more we saw, well, think about it. If me and you want to throw a party, we're not going to go down by Burlington Harbor and pay $1,000 a night.
Mm-hmm.
We're probably going to go somewhere, on that side of the QEW and just rent the coolest looking thing for the least amount of money and have a party, trash it, and leave. But, to me and you, going to look at the Burlington Harbor is not some special thing. It's an everyday occurrence.
Right.
Because we live here. But if you're coming from somewhere, you're family, and you really want to go see Burlington Harbor, you're going to go at the most expensive, safest, easiest access place. So when we found this place, it was 5 minutes from the beach. We knew we was going to keep the riffraff out.
Because it was more expensive. It's not a partier's location.
Not a partier's location. Because our ADR is average daily rate is $680.
$680, okay.
So
and that's plus your cleaning fee, plus the Airbnb fee, all that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Plus everything. So the coolest thing is you come into a place that has a little gate. So you would kind of say gated community.
Okay.
There's no code, there's no passwords, nothing, but it keeps the riffraff out.
It's just a gate.
It's
You
a
just
gate.
drive
You
up and it
drive up,
opens.
it opens.
Does it have the
Slowly.
scanner on the barcode scanner?
No.
No, it just looks like it's
It
skated.
just look, yeah.
Yeah,
But it
okay.
works. And like I
Yeah.
talked to all the neighbors.
It is an
"Oh, super
HOA?
safe." There's no HOA.
No HOA.
No HOA.
So who pays for those gates to run?
So sorry, there is an HOA that one. There's an HOA
Yeah.
that one. Yep. That
Okay.
one does have an HOA.
All right.
But we don't cover that. That's with the landlord.
Oh, the landlord does it. Okay, and they're okay with Airbnb. The HOA is.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Because a lot of HOAs, especially in Naples, is my familiarity. They're like all no to Airbnb.
Yeah, I heard you guys have like one little pocket that you can kind of.
Yeah,
really,
Naples Park.
Yeah. And then everything else is like.
Nil. Yeah. You're not supposed to. Well, there's a couple other small pockets that allow it, but the notorious one is Naples Park.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We considered that after Cape Coral. We just started going down.
Yeah.
And then that was the same thing we ran into. We're like, well, can we really scale here?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you could keep buying up stuff in Naples Park, but yeah, you get a lot of competition.
Yeah.
And I looked at Cape Coral for Airbnb, and I definitely think it works there. It's just, is that the best place to do it? And we talked about it, and you're like, yeah, East Coast. I talked to an Airbnb analytics guy. Same idea. Like, yes, you could make it work there, but you'd be smashing it out of the park to do what your goal is. Yeah. Versus you could go to another place and smash it out of the park just as an average deal or a slightly above average deal.
Exactly.
I'd rather play in that above average range and be crushing. Yeah. So I'd look for the place that does that. So hopefully you'll tell me about that place.
Yeah, I mean, it seriously is. That's what we looked at. What's happening in Florida? What is happening over there? There's a big migration. A lot of people coming in, and I'm just looking at it like, okay, Toronto people moved to Hamilton. Hamilton guys went to Niagara. That's the same thing happening over there. Miami, South Beach, all of that. They're being pushed out. They're going to Sunny Beach Isles. They're going to the northern Miami parts. Those guys are now going into like southeastern, like Hollywood, which is a very nice area. Mm-hmm. And then you kind of skip Hollywood, and then you go into like Fort Lauderdale. Then you got like Las Olas, like all these nice little places again. And then you hop over to Pompano, and Pompano is gonna be like your like maybe like Mississauga, right? Like Mississauga is nice, but no one's gonna go right home to their parents about, oh my God, this is the best place.
Yeah,
it's nice, but that's all it is, just nice.
Right.
So with what they're building in Pompano, what they're building in Fort Lauderdale. There's a massive development plan for the next 5-10 years. So I went into the city halls there, and I was looking at the massive buildings that they're coming in. It was a funny story. Like they were so delayed. I guess they were waiting for me. That's what I like to think.
They were waiting for you.
They were just waiting for me to be ready to start investing there. But they had a tree, and there was like this like 10-year battle about the tree, whether they're gonna move it or not, what they're gonna do. And then finally they found out that this tree is gonna die eventually in this spot anyway, because they have to like heal it and heal the roots or something. So that was a cause for, well, if we're going to take it out anyway, we might as well move it. Let's move on with the project. That got passed. So now they're moving forward with this like 800 unit, like massive super building.
And this is in Pompano?
Pompano Beach.
Okay.
This is in Pompano Beach. So
geographically, I'm just looking at this. Like, what is that from Miami, like South Beach?
If you were to go from Miami, South Beach, it's probably an hour.
An hour.
Probably an hour. Yeah.
In traffic?
Yeah, well, that's all there is. So
that's all there is.
There's no traffic.
Yeah. That's why I like the other side, the Gulf side.
Yeah,
it's just quieter.
Yeah, Cape Coral, like you go anywhere at any time, and you will get there in exactly what the GPS says.
Yeah, the same timing.
Yeah,
for sure. Okay, so you're doing this deal in Pompano Beach, and you've got a 4-bed, 3-bath. How many square feet is it?
So this is about 2671 square feet.
2671, and what are you renting it for?
So we're renting it for between 400 and 700, and then up to thousands on the weekend. Oh, what do we rent?
No. What do you pay?
We pay 7,700.
7,700 a month.
7,700 a month. Yeah.
Okay, across the year, that's gonna cost you. Let's just see here. It's not cheap, but I mean, so you're paying 92 for. Yeah. Average daily rate for you is 590 or 650. 650.
680 should be our ADR across the year.
680. Okay. So cleaning fee on top. All the other stuff on top.
Yep.
So what occupancy do you think you'll get for that?
So right now, we just did 40%. We just cleared 40,000, and we started March. We started in March, got it set up by probably like end of March, and then we started our bookings April. So April, May, June.
60 days, and 90 days to take us to the end of June. We're almost to the end of June. So you're like 85 days.
Yeah.
So you did 40,000. So let's see. 40,000 over 85 days. You're doing, I did that wrong. I'm going to do it 4,000 divided by your average nightly rate. So you're 680. All right. So That's about 58 days out of 85. So what's that work out to? 85. So about 69% occupancy.
Yeah.
You think you'll stay that way across the year?
No. So this is actually our slowest time.
So your occupancy will go up. So what do you think? 75% occupancy?
I'm thinking the way that we're planning on it and what we're planning to do for the actual just generating like you have with the grotto experience and everything. I think we can get that to the 80-90% very easily.
Okay.
I think if we did nothing, we would probably get 80.
And we'll play with that a little
probably
bit.
Get 80.
We'll play with that. So let's just say hypothetically we're gonna do the 680 a night times 365.
Our projections say 145,000 per year. That should
145. Okay.
Yeah.
145 a year.
Yep.
Okay. So
and that's
going to factor in all of your vacancy, all of your slow times. Okay. Cause if you performed like you did in that first bit at 75% occupancy, that would actually work out to be about 186.
That's what if you go on AirDNA, if you go on those, you're gonna see that is
that kind of number.
But the way that we're running, we're like as is. If this is just the way super safe, conservative, 145 is what we know we'll get 100% like with our eyes closed.
Okay, so that's a super conservative approach.
Super conservative number, yeah.
Yeah, so based on that's like 41% vacancy. On these numbers, right? I know obviously you've probably looked at it a little differently, but let's just leave it at that. So about 145 there. Let's just leave it there. Okay, so no taxes, nothing like that to pay. You've got insurance that you're paying.
Yeah, we do have arbitrage
insurance. A special commercial liability package.
Yeah, the company is something with a P, perfect, proper insurance.
Proper insurance. And what do you pay annually on that?
Annually on that, we are paying, I believe that is $3,600.
3,600
on that.
Well worth the investment, I'm sure. 100%. And then maintenance, are you guys taking care of some minor maintenance?
So here's the thing. Here's the way that we offer this, right? So a part of our script, because we're sales guys, Chance, my partner, he's an engineer, electrical engineer by trade. Then he got into like medical sales, and me and him hit it off right away. We're very quick sales guys. So now we're like, okay, let's set up a script. So when we set up our script, when we're calling, and that's when me and you were talking about the seller financing, a part of our script goes into just multiple offers. So who are we talking to and what can we do for them? So on the rental arbitrage side, what we actually offer is, hey, we'll take care of $200 worth of maintenance every single month. And we'll also do property management directly with you. So you don't need to hire a property management company that's going to do 8 to 10%. We'll do that for free. You'll get automatic payments in your account. And we're not going to call you to unclog a toilet or change a light bulb or all these silly little things. We take care of that ourselves. So that's kind of like our unique,
So you're basically 1% on this then. You're $2,400 a year max.
Yeah.
So $200 a month.
That's it.
If it happens.
If it happens.
Which I don't know. You're gonna have stuff.
You're gonna have stuff like we had
You have a boots on the ground, somebody that can run over there. And what do you pay them?
So we have the neighbor across the street. Because here's the thing, everybody told us. They said, don't tell anyone. Everyone's gonna report you. Everybody hates the stuff. So we literally went to every single neighbor in our neighborhood, just door knocked them, like, hey, look, this is what we're gonna do here. And they're like, well, they used to run it as that, and I don't know if they did such a great job, blah, blah, blah. And we looked at the numbers. They did 80,000 in a year, running it out of the same thing. So the owner had somebody running it. That's
they already had run it and did 80.
So they were not doing a very good job. Like we saw
bad photos,
like smelly, like furniture, just gross. So we got rid of all of that. So now we went to the neighbors. We talked to them. Hey, this is what we're doing, and we just gave them like a little slide deck. We're like, hey, if you want, like, I'll send you this. If not, here's what we do. And just verbalize, hey, this is what we do. We have a minute little noise detector. So if there's more than 75 decibels for longer than 10 minutes, it'll automatically trigger our owner res, which is like our channel manager. And that'll automatically send the guest a message, say, hey, we have a 10-minute minute. This is what it does. So we don't scare them like, well, how are you hearing this? But it basically says, hey, this is what's been happening here. This is how we know. If you continue with this, we're going to assume that there's an issue there or a party. We're going to step in and do something about it. If it happens the second time, hey, we're going to call the police soon. So we explained this to them, and everybody was super happy. So now our neighbor's like, oh, really? That's how it works? Yeah. So they got into, well, there's a proper way to manage, and then there's like a slumlord way to manage short-term rentals too. And then allowing all of our neighbors to feel confident in our guests and give them all their personal numbers. Hey, give us a call. If there's any issue, let us know. And one of the neighbors across the street was like, yeah, if you guys ever need any help, let us know. Who's doing your garbage? And we're like, I don't know. We didn't really think of that yet. And he's like, well, I'll do it for you. No problem. So we took care
You
of the
just pay him a little
garbage,
bit.
and now we started paying him a little bit. And then
Yeah.
he's just super handy. He's like, yeah, whatever you need, I'll run over. So there's a couple times that he's just been running over, and we almost, nah, don't pay me. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. We're neighbors. It's all good. I'm like, no, man, we got to start paying you
No,
something.
you gotta start
right?
paying so you keep doing it. Yeah, that's a great point. Yeah, I'm gonna walk the neighborhood near our new resort. Just start knocking on doors and meet some people.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so we got on a tangent there.
know.
We were talking about your maintenance. Okay, so
Yeah.
your boots on the ground. So you've got max 2,400 a year with just actual like plumber, contractor, or whatever, miscellaneous you have to do. What are you paying this guy per year, you figure, to run over?
You know what? We probably between our cleaner, who also does like most of our running around.
Oh, your cleaner does it. Okay.
Cleaner does the running around and the
Yeah.
stock and making sure we have everything. So they do about $15 per run.
And that's on top of this gross rent anyway. So we'll just assume that that's sort of taken care of then. So
That's taken
the
care of.
miscellaneous door opening or whatever the guy
Yeah.
needs to do is taken care of. 2,400 will budget for maintenance.
Yeah.
Utilities, are you paying everything?
We're paying everything.
Yeah, so you got water and electric basically.
Water and electric.
Yeah, there's no gas there. Okay, so what are you per month there, do you figure?
We're at about 400 for electricity, and I think it wasn't very. I think it was like only 180 last time I saw the water bill. It wasn't
For a month?
Yeah, it wasn't that much. I thought it would be more.
Yeah, so that works out to be almost $7,000 a year. Does that sound right for all utilities?
Yeah,
Okay.
about there. Yeah.
And you've got the pool, and is there a spa there too, like a hot tub?
So there's no hot tub, there's no spa. We have a pool in the back.
Yeah.
And then another expense is we do have a pool heater.
Pool heater. Oh yeah.
Pool heater. That is.
And is it an old one?
It is an old one.
That's why your electric's so high.
Yeah.
Because that did seem high to me.
Yeah, it is an old one.
Yeah, maybe you can convince him to get one of the heat pump ones.
Yeah, so that's part of our process, I guess, is just showcasing the things that the place is missing until we eventually just sell it to us, So that's kind of the goal, right? Just document very well the issues with the property, what can be done to make it better, and then do you really want to go through with this?
Okay, so I mean, you can live with that. You're still profitable. I wouldn't go, bother, but you could obviously use that as, hey, like if you want to do this, that's costing you a lot of money. Any other expenses with this? Like consumables, I'm assuming are covered in your cleaning fee. Like that covers all that stuff.
Yeah.
So I just have like a $500 miscellaneous. The guy taking out your garbage, that's covered in your cleaning fee. Landscaping, I guess. That's the one thing.
Landscaping, $240 a month.
$240. And that covers your pool too?
Pool is $160 a month.
240 times 12 plus 160 times 12. Okay, so 4,800. I think there's some probably some room for you to save some money on that landscaping. Maybe they just charge less in Cape Coral. You can get it a little cheaper.
I think they charge less. This is about the standard. We had 4 quotes, and this was a guy that was already doing it. He was familiar with it, and there was a issue with the water sprinklers coming out.
Yeah,
and he was like, you know what? Don't worry, I'll fix that for you. Like, all right, man, just keep the job, keep the contract. It's all good.
Nice.
So he was a super cool guy.
Okay, so what did you have as a total investment into this deal? Like for furniture, 50K?
50K US.
Okay.
Yeah.
What did that cover?
All the furniture. We did do one very expensive thing that we think is absolutely worth it. So my partners Matt and Lori. Matt is the kind of integration implementation genius of all the technology and all that stuff, and then Lori's underwriting genius and design and putting everything together and looking at the areas, and that's kind of how we came across that property. And then that's what feeds our conveyor belt, where Chance does all the cold calling for that. So it comes from Lori.
So Chance finds the leads, you guys
Lori
lock it
finds
up.
the leads.
Yeah.
Chance closes on the leads.
Okay.
When it gets to a certain point that we got to go there, I'll go, or we got to negotiate further, I'll negotiate further.
Okay.
I'll close the deal. So that's kind of how our conveyor belt works. Once we get it, then Matt and Lori will go, okay, what do we need? How do we add this to our online stuff? And then what do we do with the offline stuff? So then Lori was looking at a lot of the stuff online, and there's this really cool on Shutterstock where you kind of pick your own designs and then just get a wallpaper company to come and install whatever they print off. So that was kind of like a Hail Mary shot, because it was hard to organize that in the time that we had when we were staying there. But it worked out.
So you had wallpaper put up.
We had wallpaper put up, just accent walls, which was about $6,500.
And the owner was okay with that?
The owner was okay with that.
You just said, hey, we're gonna make it a little nicer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Owner's a bit absentee. You more deal with the realtor and the property manager there.
Yeah.
He owns 2 franchise restaurants there and has a bunch of other stuff. And
So this is an afterthought.
Yeah, it doesn't care. Right?
Okay. Now that money though, so the 50K, were you guys borrowing that, or was that your own contribution?
No, that was our own money. So
Yeah,
we just figured, you know what,
yeah.
let's get proof of concept. I don't want to, take somebody's money on a guess.
Yeah.
So once we have that all set up, now we can say, hey, this is what our money is doing. And you know what? Our favorite thing about it is we can start offering very small investment opportunities for whatever percentage makes sense for us and the investor for like 20, 30, 40, 50K. Because if we get something furnished first, last month and security deposit, you can get away with 25K and you're in. It makes it easier for us. We don't have to go all our money, but it gets somebody in. And why we chose owner res over like Guesty and Hospitable. Who do you use? Guesty, Hospitable? Are you using
Logify?
Which?
Logify. Yeah, that ties like Airbnb with Booking.com and so that gives us our own booking platform, which apparently is really good in general. I haven't tried the other ones. So
we did. So we went through all of them and we ended up landing on OwnerRez. It's the best. It has the least breakups with the booking software everywhere else. We kept having issues.
What platforms are you on?
So we're on Guesty, we're on Vrbo, Booking, and Airbnb.
Through that, okay. And no issues with that. Your
which
team's able to access it and communicate. Because we're not like married to where we're at. Like if there's some things they're not doing for us that we may have to have a conversation with them, because we're a lot of business to them right now. Like, hey, do you want us to take this somewhere else, or are you going to kind of help us fill in the gaps here?
Yeah. We had an issue with Guesty because on paper it looks great, but then the actual it just keeps losing the connection. Yeah. And then you don't know unless you check. So
the API from the different platforms. Yeah. And you never want to have a double book because one of them didn't communicate.
That's right.
And that was one of the things we looked for when we ended up with what we have.
So knock on wood, OwnerRez, no issues with that. And our favorite thing now that we could actually use is they have their own online portal for your investors. So if you own multiple properties with investors, or even if you do a simple thing like a rental arbitrage, lend on this, we can get that access to them where they can see the active P&L throughout the months. Yeah. And then they get excited, like, oh my God, why am I only getting, 10% on this 25K when I can be part of the deal and I can be making the 180K it should be making, split that.
So you want to show them that?
You want to show them the numbers, right? Like, look at what we're making. You could be part of this. Let's go, right?
So just going over your numbers here, kind of looking at your against your investment. So your annual, it looks like, is about 35,000 profit on that if you only hit the conservative projection. Like if you're
spot on.
So if you're like 41% vacancy like this one, or maybe you're only 25% vacancy, you're gonna have a lot more income, and then you're gonna be like a 75,000 a year, which is like 6,200 a month on your investment. That's a cash on cash return of like 16%. Yeah, that's all right.
100%.
I mean, of course, you want to maximize that and get that up, but eventually you're going to get investors in there. They're going to put the money in, make the 10%. You guys make the difference.
Yeah.
Do you see? I mean, I guess the real challenge here is the 50,000 down. I think a lot of people would try and minimize that a little bit more. Do you see a way to do that?
I do. And so here's the thing. So here's the way that we're looking at that. So when we were talking about the way that we do our underwriting and we choose what area to go in. The saturation of the type of product that's available for people to actually rent. If it's a 2-3 bedroom compared to a 4-5, the 4, 5, 6, 7 bedroom homes that are millions of dollars are typically going to come furnished.
Yeah.
So you're going to go in, you're going to rent.
Oh, okay. And then you don't have the issue.
That's right.
Yeah. So you're going to keep trying to push those.
Yeah.
Are you seeing that? Like, are you getting leads for that kind of thing?
Yeah. We have one under contract right now, fully furnished. The guy was super nice. He's like, and I'll get you a ping pong table, and I'll get you a pool table, and I'll get you. We're like, whoa, like we already said yes, and he's just like, I'm gonna do this, and I want to make sure you guys succeed because I don't want to deal with this ever again, because he just wasn't happy with having to deal with it. He's from China, and he just comes here like once, and I'm like, I get it, man. 24-hour flight, you don't want to.
What would you think about just taking 20% from, say, this guy? So, say you could get him to do, well, I guess, what would 20% of the 145 be? 2. So you'd be like 30. So you're making a bit more by not doing it that way. But then you would have none of the upfront costs, because then you just say, hey, you furnish it, we'll direct, or give us the credit card, we'll set it all up, give you the receipts, and now your ROI is like just on your time in.
100%.
I think that assuming you had the ability to do the volume of units and you didn't mind managing more, that would probably be a better ROI.
Yeah.
Now, whether your return on time works out better that way, I guess that theoretically it should.
It should. And I think the cool thing about that is that we're very well diversified within our own little industry. So on the co-hosting side, that's a service-based business. We're a property manager.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what happens in the market or recession or world war or whatever. As long as somebody doesn't bomb our place, we're going to be fine. We're still collecting. Now, on the other side with rental arbitrage, it allows us to take a little bit more risk on, take a little bit more of the project on that maybe we don't have to in the co-hosting, but it also allows us to build out our newbie investors. Like we all got a couple of friends or cousins or someone that's got 20, 30, 50K. What are they going to do with that money?
Yeah.
You can't buy anything here.
Yeah.
What are you going to buy with 50K in Burlington?
But these people could be the money partners.
They could be the money partners.
And you're just going to give them a flat return,
You're going to give them a flat return.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the nice thing about it is, look, this is our projection for when we're going to break even on this property with this investment. After we break even, give or take a month or two, this is when you get your money back.
So you're just going to pay them back at that point.
Just pay them back at that point. And then that way, it's like, here's how we'll track it. Here's how you'll see. Here's how you'll be updated to know exactly when that's going to happen.
Well, that's a lot of information you get. Normally when I borrow that kind of money, it's just like, hey, when do you need it back? Okay. Yeah, we'll touch base around then.
Yeah, there you go. But our goal is like we want to educate people on this as it's happening because we want to promote them to a JV partner. And from a JV partner, what we're actively looking for right now is that's why I was in Phoenix with my cousin who's a general manager of a hotel. And he's like, well, what's going on? So we had a meeting and I'm telling him, I'm like, dude, you're working for another company. You've been there for 13 years. You're killing it for them. Like your hotel is performing very well, but you're working for them. And he's like, well, what do I do? I'm like, let's go get a boutique hotel.
Yeah.
So now everything kind of funnels
scale it up. Yeah.
Let's go get a boutique hotel. Let's replace your job there here. Whether you make more or less doesn't matter, but you're going to be a part owner. So let's get you here. And now once we get that, there's plenty of us. So there's 4 partners. Let's get him. That's what I'm saying. In the States, one of the biggest lessons is just get all the people you can. And just stay focused on getting it done, and everybody will make money. Whereas here, you're looking at one deal, and you're analysis paralysis. Well, if I share my if I JV and do a flip, I'm gonna get half. There's so much abundance and money in the world. Just go do stuff.
Yeah, and I'm with you there. Do the bigger stuff. That was the reason we wanted to do like the camp and the resort. We wanted scalability. We wanted stuff we could grow with.
Yeah.
And obviously that's there, but the work comes with it too.
It does.
You really you're building a business. It's not just real estate. It's a real estate based business.
That's right.
But it's still a business.
Yeah.
And with all the pros and cons of that.
Yep.
Yeah. So you have 3 locked up at this point.
So we have our second one locked up right now.
Yeah.
There's another one that we're just in conversations with, and the conversation is an actually exciting conversation because it's, are we gonna seller finance or are we gonna rental arbitrage? Or if we do rental arbitrage, well, you got to give us some time up front because it's a very expensive property.
Yeah.
So it's about $4 million. So we're like, we're not going to give you $30,000 a month as rent for a rental arbitrage on something like that.
Yeah.
Doesn't make sense. But if you want us to do a trial run for 6 months, and it ends up making sense, we can figure something out at the end of that 6 months.
So how would you do a trial run with him?
So we would just say, hey, let us come in. It's already furnished. Let us co-host it. Let us make you money on it. It'll cover your costs. And we'll even do it super nice. We'll say, whatever your costs are, let's agree that this is your cost. If it's 10, 20, whatever the cost is, we'll make that. And then anything past that, we'll get 20% of, you'll get 80%.
Oh, okay.
So you're getting the lion's share
sense.
either way.
Yeah.
You're covered. And even if you want to sell it, $4 million properties like that, like people that are touring that, they're not like, I got to see it today. They're going to plan for it, set a date, we'll book it off. They can come see it.
So you got some flex. So you're still going to allow real estate showings on it?
Yeah, we'll allow it. Yeah, 100%.
So what's your angle with him? So see if he likes it. If he's a fan of this, he might just keep it. You guys keep making the money.
Just keep making the money.
And what do you think? What do you think you could make on that on a monthly?
So that one would be about 350.
350,000 for a year. Okay. And what would you end up paying him?
So
as a co-host, you just give him 80% of it.
Yeah.
Okay, and he gives you 20.
Yeah. Which on 350K,
That's all right. That's 70 grand for you.
Yeah, and it's the same management, so that's why we're
Same area. You could
same
just
area, same people, same contacts.
So the neighbor
everybody
from location 1 would help you out there too. You
He'd
think?
help us out there, and
Yeah,
our
he likes you
cleaner is very
guys.
capable, and
Yeah,
she's actually super. Hey, I hired more people. Hey, I'm ready for more. Hey,
like it.
I'm building everything around you guys. Hey, because at first you're like, I don't know, and then I'm like, trust me, you're getting 250 multiple times a month, like clockwork. Imagine if we have more. Just build yourself around us. Come up with us. I don't want to go get another person like you and train them to do what you do. You do that. That's
you
your
train
business.
them.
You make your money on that. And it really, she kind of got the vision. She was like, yeah, that makes sense. Why am I don't need to do all these little like cleanings. I could just focus on this. Yeah, let's go. And I'm like, and hey, there's maybe other people that you can expand to that do just what I do. And you could sell them, hey, I worked this way for an Airbnb guy. I know how to do this. Boom, go. Mm-hmm. So it was just like coaching them to have the vision too. Yeah, that really helps.
Yeah, you gotta do that. Apologize, man. My son really hurts my sleep a little bit.
Yeah, no worries.
I did it to myself a little bit too this weekend, so it's not his fault completely. Yeah. Tell me a little bit about the acquisition side. Yeah. I mean, some of the tools you're using, the fact that it's just way easier to get information down there.
Yeah, 100%. So on the wholesaling side, acquisition side, we have Podio. That's the kind of general CRM, project management. It really is everything, whatever you build it to be. That we're now looking at replacing with InvestorLift. InvestorLift is built through Carrot. Carrot is the platform for where all of our websites are, and it's pretty nice. Anybody that's new,
what kind of websites?
Real estate.
So real estate, for listings?
It's amazing. So you literally go and put like, are you disposition, are you personal brand, or are you acquisition? And there's like 9 other options. So I got the 3.
So you can set up a wholesaling website, list all your properties on it. Exactly. Okay. So you're doing that.
So we have 3. So there's realestatnemo.com. Yeah. Realestatnemo.com is mine, and it's just my brand. And then
that's just for your wholesaled properties?
That's just for me as a brand. Okay. And then it'll split off to Lux short-term stays, where it's me, Chance, Matt, and Lori. Okay. And then from there, it'll go to our Nemo Buys Houses. So that's the brand for our wholesaling acquisition. Yeah. And then there's Disposition, which is our deal swing properties. Okay. So that's where people can go and look at our portal, look at what properties we have available, or if you want to invest with us, if you want to partner with us, if you just want us to find you a deal in a certain area, we can. So it's a really good product that Carrot offers. Yeah. And they have a really amazing team. So if you're not techie at all, but you're an investor, you're a wholesaler, I would strongly suggest
and that. They'll help you set it all up and
100%. Way better.
You don't
than
need
Wix,
a graphic designer with you or anything.
Like click and you pick. There's 5, 6 different templates.
That's awesome.
And they know what you want. Yeah. They know wholesaling. They know flipping. They know burn. Yeah. They know all these strategies. Whatever your focus is, they can do that.
They can just do it.
Yeah.
I remember we were talking about PropStream, I think. Yep, PropStream. That's for acquisitions. And
that's for acquisitions. So now that we have the website connects to what's going to be either Podio or InvestorLift once we decide. But right now it's Podio, and then Podio and Zapier is what we use to like build all the automation for automatically sending it out to buyers lists. Or
okay, so you've got your list of buyers down there, and you're using these tools to do that. What does Podio do?
So Podio is kind of what it's like a CRM. It's like a CRM, but it can do project management as well. It's not like Salesly or like Salesforce.
So you're putting all your wholesale buyers into your CRM, Podio?
That's right. So we have 3 sections in it. So our junior guy, he does a lot of Facebook lead gen through various groups and firing VAs. So that's very successful on the lead gen side. And then we have cold callers in either Egypt or Colombia or somewhere there. Okay. And when we get to the wholesaling side is actually just the closers. So we're getting lead gen from these side. Closers are in there. Closers are going to actively use PropStream as soon as they start talking to someone. So I think that's...
You mean the closers, like people who do closing for you?
People who do closing for me, yeah.
And when they're using PropStream, so that you've got a lead, somebody who wants to sell, you're checking out what the mortgage is on the house, like if they even have one, if you can get financing terms.
100%.
And where all are you doing this?
So we've had the most luck in Newport Richey and Lakeland.
Is this all on the East Coast as well?
Lakeland is like maybe northwest of Orlando. Okay. And then Newport Richey's on the west side.
And are you doing any physical mailings, or is this all online?
No, this is just cold calling.
Cold calling. Yeah. So you just pay your cold callers. And where are your buyers coming from for your wholesale stuff?
Buyers are coming from just networking.
So just you're going down there, shaking hands, adding people to your list.
Yeah.
Those are ending up being your buyers. How many properties are you moving right now?
So for this year, we've done 14.
14 you've already transacted on.
Which is fairly slow considering like some people are doing like 1,000 a month, whatever. But you know,
it's
like
pretty good. You're
14
Canadian.
is remote. Yeah, it's the biggest learning curve with us was also you know, a little bit of split focus and figuring out what we're gonna do, because we have the short term side for the short term rentals where me and Chance are focusing more, and this is just kind of like we gave it to our junior guy to kind of like run. We come in and help close. We come in and help dispo, but he'll handle most of the day-to-day and stuff. And the lead gen, it runs pretty automatic. It's just a matter of coming in and just adding fuel to the fire. Just hire more people. Because the systems are there. Like if somebody wants to come in and work right now, we'll take workers. Like come in and we'll even give you like 30% commission. Yeah, like, which is unheard of. Like,
close the deals.
To close the deals, yeah. Like we pay really
and
high
closing the sellers or closing the buyers or both.
Closing the sellers. No, the buyers it's a little bit too hard. The buyer side, it's only Chance that does that and me. Yeah. Because it's also our reputation. Yeah. And we don't know how that would work because all these guys, they're very, you know, they're snipers. You know, in the States they're snipers. In Canada, you know, if I wholesale you a deal or Jacob or somebody, we all know each other. Yeah. You know, there's a certain, you know, respect we all have within the Canadian really. I'd like to think within the Canadian real estate community. Sure, yeah. That doesn't exist down there.
It's a small community.
Yeah. Down there, you're getting sniped, you're getting beat up, you're getting lied to, you're getting convinced of BS. Like these guys.
So these wholesalers lie bad.
Yeah, and most of the time you don't even know. Like it's a wholesaler talking to you, trying to daisy chain your deal to somebody else, and you don't even know what's happening. So like there's certain questions and certain like, things that we just know. And then we're like, okay, well, buddy, you're a wholesaler. Why don't you say that? And then they're like, oh, well, you know, you get into this whole little thing. So like to have a new guy come in and deal with that. And then sign on, like it's just too much risk for that. So dispo we do. Yeah. On the acquisition side, we do hire for that right now. So anybody that's working from home that wants to just do some Facebook lead gen is like, you're wasting your time scrolling on Reels anyway. Let us teach you how to do Facebook marketing. Worst case scenario, you understand how to do a very lucrative Facebook marketing lead gen strategy that you could do for your business, your friend's business, whatever. Yeah. Doesn't even have to do with real estate. We'll teach it to you for free. So if you make money with us, great. If you don't, you're getting taught like really expensive and good knowledge from that we had to pay for through coaching, right? So that's where we're on the base line, and then we level up to the actual closers. Closing, we tell everybody if you can't do 20 hours, then don't join. 20 hours a week is minimum. Okay. At 20 hours, you're gonna get your 10,000 calls in, which go through dial pad and smart dialer. So we feed the lists in, and the number calls 50 numbers at a time, and then whoever picks up hangs up the other numbers. So you're actually
that's crazy.
Like when you're on the phone, you're on the phone.
You're always on the phone.
All on the phone. You're not like there like, oh, let me punch this number. Oh, I hate my no, it's a fun thing.
You don't even know who you're talking to.
You just it pulls up, and then the system says this is the address, this is this. Yeah. So then it pulls that up, you get all the information there, and then instantly you just copy paste into PropStream. Hello, how's it going? Boom. Yeah. And you start from there. Yeah. So
just cold calling. Are you any interest in selling your home?
100%. Yeah. 100%. And you know, the way that we structure it is our lead gen guys are kind of saying that we're canvassing an area. We're looking at areas. We're looking at exactly houses like yours. We're interested in purchasing it. We're looking to buy 2 this month, and yours fits the bill. If you're not interested, we'll give you our offer anyway. And if your property doesn't work for us, we'll disqualify you and we'll let you know why. So now our lead gen guys, instead of the guys, hey, you sell your house, it's like they're giving like this entire elaborate, like, this is happening right now in your area. For them, So when our cold callers go and they say, hello, I'm the investor that's been appointed to your deal. I'll be dealing with you from now on. So it's like this whole like process that you've been passed on to somebody else. So these people actually care that they got called back. Yeah. Whereas I feel like on normal lead gen or cold calling, it's kind of like door knocking. Like if they're not down to talk to you, they're not going to talk to you. Yeah. But this is important because we're only here for this month. We're looking to buy 2 this month. Yeah. We'll buy more. But
you're setting it up.
So it all sets up. And then the way that we do it is we have to give an offer right away. And it's so easy to give an offer. My guys, just lock. How many offers you give out today? That's all I ask. Like how many?
So right there, the very first call, they're offering?
First call.
Or you're giving them a call back?
No call back.
No, okay.
So offer right away. And you got to put them on 2 holds.
Can I put you on hold?
We got to put them on 2 holds. We got to put them 2 holds. So we put them on a hold at the 11th minute and then the 27th minute. And then by minute 41, we're giving them the offer. So that's how long our script takes to get through, depending on how much rapport you build up and how much, random talking happens. But if you stay on this script, you will naturally build enough rapport and actually move the conversation forward.
Yeah.
That by minute 41, you're putting them on hold. You're reaching out to me or Chance saying, hey, this is what it is. We'll have a quick look at it. And we kind of structure it like, hey, what's the equity? So we know, we tell them this has no mortgage. Like, they're probably not going to take a lowball offer, but maybe they can sell it finance and then we can afford to pay them more. So now they know which way to kind of structure it. And PropStream has been super instrumental in that because it gives you all the information.
It tells you if there's a mortgage and how much.
Tells you yeah, exactly. And when it's sold and the market analysis, and it even gives you MLS access. So it will give you the MLS like data, basically way more accurate than Redfin or Realtor or Zillow. So what we do is we say, hey, take all this information, also get Rent-A-Meter. So get the rents in the area, get what this is saying, and just pick a median price, give them that offer. Just lock it up under contract. If we got to go back,
if you got to go back and renegotiate, you will.
It's no big deal, right? And it happens all the time in the States. Like, at first, we felt weird because all my wholesales in Canada, like, once I give them the price, that was part of my closing pitch. Like, when I give you the price, that's your price.
Yeah, there it's like, what I could do is I could offer you 60 grand or whatever you do, and then when you go look at it, if it's like, oh, we have to make a little adjustment. And
here we premise it in our actual closing speech. So we'll say, if we have to disqualify you, we will, but we'll tell you why we're disqualifying you. So now we're not this like spammy, duck cleaning sales guy trying to sell you something. We're trying to find a property that suits our portfolio in this area. And if yours happens to suit it, great. If not, sorry, that's what it is. So now they want to be chosen so they can deny us.
Yeah.
And that's when you kind of start getting into the fun of it.
That's fascinating, man. We could definitely go on about this, but we're already a little over time. So I'll let you just share with our audience how they get in touch with you or how they follow you.
You can go on realestatenemo.com. All of my websites are there, all my portals. On Instagram, it's Nemo Napijalo. That's my full name. I should maybe change that to Real Estate Nemo, huh? Is that
It'd be a little easier.
Might be a little bit easier.
I'll share I'll put the URL there so they have access.
And then Lux Short-Term Stays. That's where you can find me, Matt, Lori, and Chance, and that's where we do the short-term rentals.
Very cool. Any just final thought before we wrap up?
I think the biggest thing that, my biggest advice and what I really take to heart is just take massive action. Just massive action. Just go and do exactly what you want and you think and you instinctually feel. Because I think that in today's crazy world, like, the more you think, the more you get confused.
Just overthinking.
Go with the heart. Like, don't get into analysis paralysis. You want this, go get it, and just trust yourself that you'll figure out how to pull through.
I do that with my golf game sometimes. I overthink it. Kind of hurt me this weekend. Anyways, okay. Nemo, thanks for doing this.
Absolutely, man. Thanks for the invite.
There are a lot of people out there talking about the infinite banking strategy and whether or not it makes sense for them. To find out what it's all about and if it's a fit for you, visit controlandcompound.com/Andrew Hines, where my audience can gain exclusive access to books, podcasts, and webinars tailor-made for real estate investors.